Welcome to another episode, everyone. Centinela State Prison. Vicious, violent, and dangerous, as is all prisons. And there, in 1997, we had two tunas, also known as turned up non-affiliates. One went by the name of Pete. The other guy, let's call him Psycho. And you will soon find out why I dubbed him that name. Pete and Psycho there on the yard seemed to have a friendly competition going amongst one another. They would work out on the yard and laugh. They would have one-on-one basketball games and go at it with one another. But it all seemed to be in friendly competition. However, lying beneath the lines, beneath the lies, was envy, apparently, on behalf of non-affiliate Pete. They were really competing for who on the yard out of those two non-affiliates were going to have the most respect, or going to have the most respect, the most love from the community, even though they didn't gang bang. Who was going to have this particular non-affiliate's back, even though he was not associated? And so they seemed to be vying for the attention of the gang members in the black community there on the yard. As it turned out, the community had love for both of these individuals. They both seemed to be strong, solid dudes, working out, reading, taking care of business, and staying out of the way. Psycho, he hailed from Los Angeles, California, and though he was not a member, he did not gang bang. He understood in depth the gang culture as it relates to Los Angeles, California. So he really had a step above Pete, who wasn't so street savvy, but was carrying himself with admiration there in prison. Or the way he was carrying himself was admirable. But you can tell he was a bit green when it came to street politics. But he was not getting in any trouble. Laying low, minding his own business. Pete and Psycho were a few cells away from one another, in or about 3 blocks there on CR. And the friendly competition that they had amongst each other began to turn violent. It was no longer friendly. Now, Pete had got involved with the CO woman. The CO woman began to bring Pete illegal substances there to the prison. And Pete, he began to feel himself. He's making a lot of money. He's getting respect on the yard. And he feels like he has overtaken Psycho as far as receiving love on the yard and respect, again, from the members. Because now he's bringing in this sack and he is breaking bread. But little did he know, and he came to find out, that Psycho also had a sack, had been bringing in a sack and making his money. He was just not the one to flaunt it. He was not flamboyant and more low key. But Pete soon discovered that Psycho as well was bringing in a sack. And he deemed Psycho, apparently, his number one opposition, his number one competition. All of a sudden, the CO that Pete is involved with, that's bringing him in the illegal substances, began to search cells. And she searched Psycho cell and went straight to his stash spot. Although, at that juncture, nothing was there inside of the stash spot. Psych began to worry or think to himself, who could have told these people where my stash spot was at? I'm only dealing with a few people, and only one person really know where my spot is at. He said that was Pete. That when he and Pete were on better terms, he was trying to tell Pete different stash spots inside of the cell where to keep his illegal stuff. Because again, Pete is sort of green and doesn't get some of this stuff just yet. But Psycho, he's been around for some time. He knows how to fandangle the police, other incarcerated people, and the like. He's navigating prison life just fine, particularly for someone who is a non-member. Is not involved in gang activity whatsoever. So he's just trying to help his friend, or who he thought was his friend at the time, Pete. He's trying to help him out. Man, keep your stuff here and keep your stuff there inside of the cell. And Pete's, oh man, that's a good spot. That's a good stash spot. So says Pete. But it was a good spot. I had never heard of it. But then, again, when the CO woman that Pete is dealing with comes and searches Psycho's cell, she goes straight to the stash spot that only Pete knew about and Psych. And now, apparently, the police. That's not enough evidence to accuse Pete of being the one of dropping a dime and sending the police to Psycho's cell. So the program just continued. People had their suspicions, however, thinking this dude Pete possibly is up to no good, trying to eliminate the competition. Is he talking? A Sammy the Bull running his mouth to the authorities and snitching on his own brethren, particularly when his hands are dirty also. He is bringing in the substances himself, or CO woman is to him, but he's dealing in this stuff. How can you deal in this stuff and then take a moral high ground by snitching on someone as if what he is doing is immoral? Well, it wasn't about morality. It was about the fact that Pete wanted to eliminate the competition. But again, people have their suspicions, but no hardcore concrete evidence that Pete is the culprit, the one who has been running his mouth and conveying information to the CO woman that he's dealing with. Plus, people are thinking, well, the CO woman cannot be hitting cells, really literally trying to locate illegal substances or knives or whatever and put people in the hole when she's bringing this stuff in herself. But what no one understood was that she was overzealous, going overboard, hitting these cells to find narcotics in order to cover her own tracks, to cover up the fact that she's a dirty cop, a dirty officer. If she makes 30 arrests this month and has found 30 stash spots, hell, she's about to get a promotion. She's going to be seen as one of the top officers there in the prison, there on the yard. A sniffer. She can smell it from a mile away. This is our prized best officer here. Wherever you got it at in your cell, she's going to come and find it. This is the reputation that she wants to cover up the fact that behind the scenes, she's committing felonies. But without proof, the program continued. And then it all came to a head. Once again, since they could not find anything inside a psych cell when they ran in there, About a week later, they ran in there again. And instead of going straight to the stash spot that they had went to before, looking for the illegal substances, they went to yet another stash spot that Psycho swears up and down he had only told Pete about. And now, Psycho is absolutely convinced that Pete is the culprit. Pete wants him out of the way. Pete is trying to eliminate the competition and get him out of here. And he made up his mind in that moment, even without paperwork and really proof, that Pete is behind his cell being hit and them hitting his stash spots. He really has no proof of this. The police haven't told him, oh yeah, Pete told us. He just has his suspicions. And he believes this based on what he's told Pete and the way Pete has been comporting himself on the yard, the way Pete is acting towards him, the way their friendship turned sour, all over supposedly friendly competition at first. And when you mesh it all together, in his estimation, it's a guilty verdict for Pete, but without proof. Well, the blacks decided they had to stand down. He brought this situation to the blacks and said that he believed Pete was giving the police information, causing his cell to be hit, and that Pete was trying to eliminate him, get him off of the yard. The black told him, well, you have no proof of this. So we're not going to remove Pete from the yard. We can't get him off of the yard. Where's the paperwork? Where's the police saying that this is true? If you believe Pete is doing this, well, you will have to take the law into your own hands. No one can tell another man what to do. No one can tell another man not to defend himself. If this is what you believe, then you take care of it. I'm not going to take care of it because I don't have proof. But you believe that you do have proof, even though it's not in black and white. You believe that this man is trying to eliminate you. Who am I or anyone else to tell you otherwise? When this is what you believe to your core, and you have your reasons for your beliefs. So the blacks told him, we can't do anything to Pete. We don't have any proof. But if you believe that you do, and you believe that he's talking, snitching on you, getting your cell hit constantly with this CO woman that he's involved with, that he's giving her information to come get people off the yard so that he will be the last man left standing with the sack. He can make all the money. The other people in the yard that have the sack, he's been getting rid of them through this CO woman, as far as Psycho is concerned, and others. Others believe this as well, but again, no proof, no knife. If you believe this, Psycho, and you want to make a move even without proof, then that's on you. If it comes back that it's not true, that he was not a snitch, he did not rat, then obviously, Psycho, that's your ass. So we gonna stand down and let you make that decision as to what you're gonna do about the situation. Psycho, well, he made his decision, and rapidly. He decided, I do believe this man is telling, and if he's not, I'll deal with the consequences later. But I believe that this man needs to go from the yard and a message needs to be sent. And if I'm not going to receive any help, I'll do it myself. Not long after, they're on the yard. We're playing basketball. And Psycho is circling the basketball court. Apparently, he's strapped. Pete is on the basketball court, typical, playing his basketball game. And Psycho, without warning, crept up from behind. I'm watching the whole time. And hit Pete right in the side, right about the kidney area, with a nice piece. Bam! Hit him! A non-affiliate, a tune-up. He hit Pete with no questions asked. His decision had already been made. Pete grabbed his side. What the hell? And realized he'd been stabbed. and basically tried to run like Usain Bolt. He tried to get out of there. But Psycho, well, he chased him down. He made it about 15 feet to the bleachers, right there on the yard, did Pete. But he's losing blood. Apparently, he's getting weaker. So Psycho chases him down and gets on him, knocks him to the ground. And now Peter's on the ground holding up his hands, trying to block the knife thrust, to no avail. Because Psycho, well, he's on him. He's hitting him and hitting him and hitting him and hitting him. And they're yelling, "Get down, get down." But Psycho, well, he's going psycho. He believes that this man is trying to create his downfall. And he wants to get rid of him. And so I begin to believe they're about to shoot this dude, Psycho, because he won't stop. He's steady stabbing him. Now he's kicking him. He's kicking him in the mouth. He's kicking him in the teeth. He's kicking him in the eye. His eyes are closed, bloody. Dude is a mess. How could he even survive such an attack? He's a bloody mess. They came, took him off the yard on a stretcher, cuffed up Psych, and took him off the yard. And Psych went to the hole and then eventually to the shoe program. And I don't know what ended up happening to old Pete. He did survive the attack. This is a situation that's a dicey one, where someone is getting attacked without real proof, without paperwork. Normally, a no-no, they're in prison, even in the Los Angeles County Jail or any county jail, I'm sure. That's a no-no. But you do have the right as a man to defend yourself, defend your person, and to do what you feel is right. And if you're wrong, you just have to deal with that later on. I don't know if he was wrong for what he did to Pete or not. I don't know if Pete was snitching on Psycho or not. That wasn't my call. That was Psycho's call. That's the decision that he made, and he had to live with it, good or bad. Stay free, people.